technically speaking, mobile games do make really good use of the touchscreen. However, I don't really think anything could capture the feeling of holding a controller in your hands with all that haptic feedback and stuff. And if you're actually looking to use your Xbox or the PlayStation controller for some smartphone games, today on Mobile Game Zone, we're going to be taking a look at the top 20 best games with controller support for your Android and iOS devices right now.
People proud. But if you fail, all is lost.
At number 1, guys, if you're a fan of paid mobile games and you haven't bought Oddmar already, well, first of all, that's just a sin, and second, this game just became free. Now, this is one of the best looking mobile games of all time and has been since 2018, and an incredibly fun platformer no matter what part of the experience we're actually talking about. The game has won awards, it's been ported many times over different consoles, it is perhaps the single best game to play right now for free with a controller if you haven't already.
Added report. Personal message.
Alright guys, at number 2, and technically it doesn't really get any more expensive than this today, we have here Alien Isolation sitting on the Play and the Apple Store with over 4.9 review scores out of 5, and actually developed by Feral Interactive, which is a studio specializing in porting high-profile franchise games to mobile devices. Now, the touchscreen setup in this game is actually pretty customizable, so it's pretty good. With the controller, there's even more support, and in it you'll actually find all 7 DLC packs included through all of the years that actually passed. Last but not least, in case you just have no clue, this is a survival horror game that first came out back in 2014 for consoles.
We need help. Repeat, we need help urgently.
At number 3, we have Brawlhalla. Now, this one's for the folks who never seem to get enough of fighting. It's basically a solo and squad-based fighter to play with or against friends or solo, with tons of different mods to go through, and in casual matches, 4 players with a lot of room to train. The game's been around since 2020. It's sitting on the Play Store with over 5 million downloads through different regions, and with a controller, it just plays the best, in case you're wondering. Moving on, it's the all-time famous Call of Duty Mobile, and now Season 7, also known as Legends of War, which is just the first mobile installment of the Call of Duty saga that quite literally just like the PC version runs like a Modern Warfare or Black Ops game, with all that multiplayer goodness. I know most of you are already familiar with this one, so I'll just say that this is perhaps the best mobile shooting game that exists, except you don't really want to get addicted to this one. At number 5, honestly my own favorite game we've got here, the iconic Castlevania Symphony of the Night, the direct port of the classic console action RPG, and on the mobile devices now, well, technically since 2020. It's a pretty amazing classic game, but the controls are actually horrible. With the controller, however, it's the exact opposite, and seriously, they really knocked it out of the park with this port. If you've never played the original Symphony of the Night and you do like Metroidvania games, which is basically where the name even comes from, Castlevania, this is literally the one for you. At number 6, we've got Dead Cells, which is a Roguevania platformer and an action game with over 500,000 downloads since 2019. Regarding it's actually not a free-to-play game. The game will take you down about a couple of bucks only. It's a great game with lots of replayability if you do like roguelikes. It does, as you can see, present one of the best and most versatile combats in any Metroidvania 2D platforms you ever get to play. It's done right, works great with the controller, and it's an absolute instant classic if there's anything you do like about pixel art games. number 7, and bear with me a second guys, we have Doom, and I've actually mentioned this one maybe once before, just a re-release of the original Doom 1993, including the expansions, that first actually introduced millions of players to the old fast-paced, white-knuckle demon-slaying genre. Now, it's a great port overall, with or without the controller. It looks, sounds, and feels and tastes like a good old Doom, and just an absolute blast when it comes to replay value. Great nostalgia, there's all the mods here you can go through, and it's taking you down about only $3. Gangstar Vegas, on the other hand, is an open world game, first of all, assuming you're not familiar with, and it's been around since 2013, downloaded over 100 million times, and pretty similar to Grand Theft Auto Vice City, where players will have to take on a role of a gangster and engage in wars and whatever. It offers a wide range of vehicles, bikes, varieties in missions and NPCs. You could engage in racing challenges. It is literally just Grand Theft Auto for mobile devices, except made by an indie developer. Check it out, just in case you missed it.
You're right. He's okay.
Moving on, we have Grand Mountain Adventure. First off, just an authentic and fantastic skiing game, and it not only has some of the most impressive graphics for this type of game on Android, but also an incredibly fun gameplay that's just perfectly adapted to touchscreen devices, let alone controls. It's free, it's been around since 2019 with over 5 million downloads and literally bug-free. There's lots of content, unlockables, and different modes to play here too. Moving on, we have Into the Breach. Now, this is a turn-based strategy at heart, and it's literally the only game in today's list that has been released in 2022. It works perfect with a controller, and in case you're wondering, in it, you control a team of MiGs trying to save the world from invaders. An absolutely stunning racing game that just feels like it was always meant to end up on the mobile devices, guys. Great Autosport has been around since September last year, and it's sitting on the Play Store with over 100,000 downloads and a very good review score too. Now, 100,000 downloads only because the game's not free, otherwise I'm guessing it would have been downloaded over 100 million times so far. Why? This is just one of the finest racing simulators that's available on Android that gets everything just right, in my opinion, worth every penny spent, if not even more. Easily one of the best hack and slasher games on the mobile devices right now. See, Grimvalor actually has been around since 2019, and it's downloaded over 1 million times ever since too. The gameplay is, and as you might guess, extremely smooth, and the controls are just very fun and simple. Now, this game's described as a Castlevania-ish Dark Souls hybrid that takes the side-scrolling platformer action of Castlevania and then mixes in notorious difficulty and grim art direction of Dark Souls. In case you are new to, this is how it really works. Coming up behind that, we have Dead Trigger 2. Now, for all you folks who do like to take on zombie games, Dead Trigger 2 here should be a preferred choice, because this is a first-person shooter survival game. Technically, it's got all the survival mechanics too, like building, defending elements, upgrades, day and night cycle, resource management, well, you name it. The game has been around since 2013, it's downloaded over 50 million times, and it's sitting on the Play Store for free with very positive review scores as well. And number 14, we've got the old Rocket League Sideswipe. Actually, not that old. A mobile spin-off of Rocket League that came out last year. Honestly, this game is pretty good with the touchscreen, but obviously it works even better with the controller. This is an action-packed, skill-based soccer game, as you could see, in which you play as cars. Nothing really much to talk about, except it's been downloaded over 10 million times, and it's literally free. At number 15, we have Sky, Children of the Light. I'm pretty sure most of you are already familiar with this one, but just in case, this is an adventure game by the same creators of Journey and Flower games that originally came out to Apple Arcades only, and now playable for free on Android devices too. The game's honestly just perfectly adapted to touchscreen, but with a controller is just on a whole other level. It's playable online with friends, and as it's the case with all the games from these developers, beautifully crafted with some great visuals and a soundtrack that just matches the rest of the game too. Check it out.
Jedi fall before me.
Moving on, we have Star Wars KOTOR 2, well, Knights of the Old Republic in case you're new to, the follow-up to the first KOTOR and will taking place 5 years after the events of the award-winning original where you play as a lone Jedi. Phenomenal game. Honestly, let's just start with the controls and the fact that it is now even easier to play the game on the mobile devices. The graphics are really good. It'll take you down $15, however, but then also comes with it one of the best experiences you've ever had if you like Star Wars. For those of you who missed it, Stardew Valley is technically one of, if not the most incredible farming sim and action RPG that has ever been released on the mobile devices since the past decade. Now, the game will take you down $6. It has got some or a lot of mixed reviews out there, but mainly because of the touchscreen play, so do pick up that controller if you've got one, and this will bring you plus 100 hours of joy, if not more. Specifically, if you do actually like farming games. Coming up behind that, we have, without a doubt, the literal absolute best game to pick up and play with or without a controller, with or without a friend, and just the best, probably the best $9 you ever spend if you do enjoy fighting games. Streets of Rage 4 has actually been around since May this year. It is sitting on both platforms with an almost perfect 5 out of 5 review score, and with all of its DLCs released so far. Check it out in case you missed it. Moving on, we've got the old Ramp, a pretty chill little game that's not got lots of content, but the controls and just the gameplay of it is really fluid, and the music is just really good too. Probably the best relaxing game out there right now, plus it's very cheap. It's a 10 out of 10 in my opinion, and it's been around since November last year, so it's technically now a bug-free game. Check it out if you do like arcade sports games. And last but not least, once again, we have an action-adventure platformer that's been around since 2019 called Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap. And yes, this is actually a remake of the 1989 game Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap, and now with just some better graphics on the mobile devices and new songs actually, and some more content. It's even got a retro version that you can play through now. The controller support works great, the touchscreen also is good. It'll take you down about $10 and it's been downloaded over 5,000 times since 2019. But that's it.